Will you be able to feed your family no matter what? Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome to the channel, everyone. If this is your first time stopping by, we are glad to have you here and we would love to have you as a subscriber. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and keep up with what we've got going on. If you're a returning subscriber, you know we love you guys and we appreciate you. Thank you for always being here. Today I've got a prepper pantry haul to share with you all. It's a big one, but first, story time. So, a few days ago, actually, let me back up a little bit. Do you all remember a few months ago when this whole community was abuzz with all the apparent attacks on our supply chain and our food supply? A bizarre chain of mostly fires that were taking out processing plants and warehouses and distribution centers and all different levels of the grocery supply chain. You probably remember when Azure Standard was hit by this unfortunate phenomenon when their headquarters was burned to the ground. I'm sure you heard me talk about Azure Standard. We just love them. So moving on to just a few days ago, we had a lot of siren activity here in town. Let's say it had been a busy day for first responders. We live pretty close to the police station and the fire department in our small town, so if something is going on, we pretty much know it. So then we had some fire trucks fly right by the house on their way out of town, and my daughter texted me from her room and said, what's going on? And I was a little curious myself, so I got on Facebook. I went on to one of our community group pages, the scanner alert type of pages, and I saw that there was a structure fire in the next town right up the road, and it gave the address. And I was looking at the address and I was thinking that address looked kind of familiar, and I was like, hey, that's the road where I go to pick up my Azure Standard drop. So I opened up the Azure Standard website and went into my account and looked at my drop location, and sure enough, it was my drop location. And I tell you what, guys, I got chills. Now, thankfully, by the grace of God and the skill of the firefighters, they were able to knock that fire down before it spread to the house from the attached garage where it had started. Thank heavens, because this is someone's home that we're talking about. So anyhow, take from that what you will, but I got chills. Azure Standard has done a lot to put some control back in our hands. They've cut out so much of the middlemen, so to speak, in the supply chain of food from where it's being produced to it getting onto our shelves. If you're not familiar with Azure Standard, I did a video about them and how they work and my experience with them after I did my first order. So I will link that video in the description box down below in case you're not familiar and you want to know a little bit more about how that all works. But regardless, I am making sure that nothing and no one will take away my ability to feed my family. So still we prep a little more every day, a little more every month, a little more every week. So let's check out what we've recently added to our prepper pantry and our supplies. All right, so here's our haul this time. This is what I've got over here and what we've got over here. All right, so I'm going to start over here. Now, this is just a couple of cases. They're 12 a piece of Chef Boyardee, the little mini cups, the microwave cups. This is what's in these. This is micro ravioli, and this is a mini pasta shells with meatballs. My kids really like the mini micro ravioli. This one I think I grabbed because it was the best price. I think it was on sale. These are great to have for all sorts of things. If you're putting together 72-hour food kits and you want to have, ready to eat, ready to serve foods that you could eat without cooking, you don't even have to heat these up if you weren't able to. They're great for that. They're great to put in bug out bags if you're trying to pack some easy foods, especially for kids. These are pretty small. These are the perfect serving size for my youngest daughter. The other kids and adults might want more than one, but they'd be a good snack. They'd be something to tide you over. So I got a dozen of each of these. These are from Amazon because it was a good price buying them in my Subscribe and Save on Amazon in the 12-pack. And next I got some canned cat food. These are the really big cans. These are 22-ounce cans. And we do have a lot of cats, so we'll definitely use this. Canned cat food has still been pretty hard to come by around here. It's never really made a comeback. You can really mostly find the really small, really expensive specialty little cans. It's hard to get the regular, just cheap, basic stuff. So when I see it, I do grab it. I did not get the whole case. There's only 8 cans here, but I did take the cardboard case that they came in because I like to have these to stack my excess cans when I store them. And next I've got my Thrive Life order. This is a really large order. This is more than what I would usually order in a typical month, but they just had their big back to school sale. And so this is what I got from the big back to school sale. I always purchase more when they have a big sale, just like anything else. Usually I only order a small order, maybe around $100 a month to get the free shipping. And you'd be surprised at how quickly this adds up by doing that much. We have a really good supply of this built up now. So I got a couple cans of broccoli. I do love having the broccoli around. These are number 10 cans. So these are gallon-sized cans. And this is freeze-dried food. This is all freeze-dried food. So the freeze-dried broccoli is great because it's one of the only ways that you can really have broccoli on hand. Have broccoli that's shelf stable. You don't find canned broccoli, you know, like you would canned peas or canned corn. So I got a couple more cans of these. We love to have this on hand. It's one of our favorites. And then I did get a can of corn and a can of peas. Those are just some good basic things. They're good ingredients and a lot of things, soups and stews and good side dishes. So all of these cans, all of these number 10 cans have a 25-year shelf life before they're opened. And then here I got a large can of instant beans. Now the thing with the instant beans is that they've been pre-cooked and then dehydrated or freeze-dried so that they will cook very quickly. You could even just dump boiling water on them. They'll cook up in about 5 minutes, which is much different from regular dried beans. And so I do like to have these on hand. We also store regular dried beans, but those need to be soaked and cooked for hours or pressure cooked. And sometimes you may not have that luxury. So it's good to have some beans that will cook up a lot quicker. So these are instant black beans. These were on sale in the back to school sale. Now this is something that I'm excited about because they've never had these since I have been buying Thrive Life. So this is just sweetened cranberries. And they had it just for a limited time, just for the sale. And I'm super excited to try these. I think they still have them in stock, actually. They brought them out for the sale. They were going to sell them until they're gone. I think they're still available. I have a link down in the description box to all these things so that you can check it out. But these, I think, are going to be great for fall baking. I love to do meals in a jar and mixes in a jar. So I think I'm going to try maybe like a pumpkin cranberry muffin mix in a jar with these. I'm excited to have these for the fall. I only got one can because we've never tried them before. So if we do like them and they do still have them, then we'll order more. And then I got this sauce. This is the velouté, which is the chicken gravy. This is really good. This is gluten-free. Not that that matters to my family, but I know it matters to some people. These sauces are really delicious and they cook up without clumping, and I use them a lot in my meals in a jar. So I did grab another one of these because I want to make sure that I don't run out of these. And then I got a can of the shrimp. If I could have, I would have ordered a whole case of the shrimp. But like I said, I made a really large order, so I really had to budget my money. I bought a case of a couple things, but the shrimp was not one of them. I wish I could have, but they have discontinued the shrimp. So they're going to have it until it's gone. And then they might bring it back for limited runs for special sales and things like that, I'm hoping. Because we love the shrimp. This is delicious. And just to be able to have the freeze-dried shrimp is amazing. So I would have gotten a case if I could, but I got one can for now. And as long as they continue to have it in stock, I'm going to continue to buy whenever I can to try to build up my supply because I really love this. And then back here, of course, these are some of the pantry cans. You can see the difference in size. These are more like quart size cans. I usually only buy things in these size of cans. The gravy was also that size can. I usually only buy those size cans if that's all that's available because the larger cans are a better value. But these are a couple things. The sour cream powder, they only had in the smaller cans right now. And that was a really good sale. So I did get a case of that, which is 10 of these quart-sized cans. And these are beef slices. This is something that they have not had since I've been buying Thrive Life. So I've never gotten to try those. They have shredded beef now, beef dices, and ground beef. But this is the beef slices. I really wanted to try these. For some reason, they were only available in this pantry size can. They brought them back just for the sale, and these sold out really quickly. So I do believe these are gone. But I think I got 2 or 3 cans of these just to try it. If I would have gotten it in time and liked it, I would have ordered more. But like I said, they sold out. So, and then I did get a case of the shredded beef. So a case of the number 10 cans is 6 cans. So that's 6 cans of the shredded beef because I was told that they're discontinuing this, and that is one of our most favorite meats. It's absolutely delicious. It's a lot of people's favorites, so I'm not sure why they would be discontinuing it. I'm hoping that's false, but I did get a case of this just in case. And then the applesauce. This is one of the items that's actually dehydrated, I believe, and not freeze-dried, but it's just like a kind of granulated applesauce that you just mix with water and blend up. and you can have applesauce anytime, but this has a 25-year shelf life, so it's a lot longer than, you know, the regular stuff you'd buy in a jar at the grocery store. But what I really like this for and why I bought a couple of them is because I did develop a muffin, applesauce muffin mix in a jar, just add water, and it was really good. We really like that. So I want to make up a bunch of jars of that to have on the shelf. So I got 2 cans of the applesauce. This is a limited time item, which means they're only going to have them available certain times of the year. And then if they sell out, they're gone until they bring them back again. So I definitely want to make sure to get this while I can. Now, like I said, the best time to buy this is going to be during a sale. And actually, they have got a coupon. We just got this news today as I'm filming this. I just got the email today that there's going to be a coupon code coming out. It's going to start the 19th of September, so that's going to be the day after this video comes out. So the coupon code is going to be SEPT10. I will put that on the screen, and I'll put it down in the description box as well until the sale is over, and then I'll take it off. But it's going to give you $10 off of any order of $60 or more. So I always order $99 or more just to get free shipping, but it's going to be $10 off of any order of $60 or more. Now, if your order goes below $100 with the coupon, then you'll be charged the shipping. So you got to make sure that it stays above $100 after all your discounts. But what you can do is you can go to the website, wickedprepared.thrivelife.com, and register for a customer account, and then I will send you an email when the coupon becomes active so that you'll make sure that you don't forget to go use the coupon if you want to. Now, I know a lot of you are already customers registered on the website, so you should get an email when this coupon becomes active. It's going to be from the 19th through the 30th, and I don't believe it's a one-time use coupon. I'm not 100% certain, but if it's not, what I would do is I will probably use it several times and place several smaller orders, just making sure that it's over $100 to get the free shipping. And you want to make sure you use the delivery service. They can lead you through that at the checkout if you're not already a delivery customer. And that will make sure that you get the best price and the free shipping. You have to be on delivery to get those benefits. And next, I've got a bunch of condiments and seasonings. Now, this is a chipotle aioli, and this is a spicy mayonnaise, Hellman spicy mayonnaise. This is new. Now, my son is really into spicy mayonnaise all of a sudden. We've been having a lot of BLTs with tomatoes from the garden, and he wants spicy mayo on it all the time. We've had one in the fridge that has been in there forever because nobody really ate it, and all of a sudden he's interested in that. So it's about gone. So I had to buy some more. So I thought I would try a couple of different ones and see what he likes best. And then whichever one he likes, we'll probably stock up on a little bit more. And then I've got yellow mustard. We've been going through quite a bit of this lately. And I've been organizing our food storage area. So I noticed that I have not quite a full row of the mustard. So I figured I'd fill out the row. So I got 3 of these. And then I did grab a couple of these large spices. This Badia brand is usually pretty economical. It's usually one of the cheapest you can get. I got these from Amazon. This is cloves. I have been using this quite a bit lately because I did use this in my zucchini relish, which came out really, really well. It's a sweet zucchini relish. And I've also been using this in like my fall baking, different fall baking. So I did get a big one of these to make sure that I have plenty of that on hand. You really only use a tiny amount of it, so this should last a really long time. And then ground coriander. I have a recipe that called for this, and I actually can't remember now which recipe it was. But I just got this. I could have sworn that this was the same as cumin, so I'm not really sure how the ground coriander is going to be different than just ground cumin, but the recipe called for both, so I'm assuming they must be different. So we'll see. I've never used ground coriander before. I thought it was the same as cumin. So, and this one is an almond powder, an almond flavored powder. I love almond flavor. I love almond extract and almond paste. And this is a powder. So this is something that I would be able to use in my meals in a jar, or rather probably baking mixes in a jar. I don't think I'd really use almond flavor in a meal so much, but in a lot of baking recipes, I can use this. And next I got some black olives. First I got these. These are from Amazon. This is Amazon's brand. These are the small cans of sliced black olives. I use these in several recipes, and they've gotten super expensive at Walmart. So I checked Amazon. I've been doing that lately. If something's gone up in price at Walmart, I'll check Amazon and see. And a lot of the time it's cheaper. Not always, but this I put on my subscribe and save. I only got 4 cans, and I'm thinking that's because it's a smaller value item, and I'm thinking I can add it into every subscribe and save order that I do every couple weeks, and then I'll just build up a supply a little at a time. And then while I was looking around for these, I also came across these, which are Kalamata olives, but they're sliced. Usually I find these whole with the pits, And I thought that having them in this shelf-stable jar, it was a pretty good price. And this is something I would like to put on salads and certain other dishes. So I figured I'd grab one of these to try. If we like it, I'll probably buy some more. And then I've got some canned meats. Now this is another thing. I've been organizing the food storage area, and some of these meats we don't have a ton of. So I'm trying to fill out my rows. So I got, but these are expensive, so I only buy a few at a time. So I've got a couple of the corned beef, and then I've got several of the roast beef. Now these are the Great Value brand. I've got a couple of these, and then I have some of these Butterfield brand, and that's because one of my grocery orders, they substituted. They substituted the Butterfield brand because they were out of the Great Value brand. I always love it when that happens. You get something a little bit more expensive. You get the name brand for the price of the store brand. And then this is just a can of pulled pork. Like I said, these meats are pretty expensive and they're definitely not getting any cheaper. So I just buy a little bit at a time. That's what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And next I did get 4 more cans of the bacon flavored luncheon meat, which is basically their version of Spam. I know I got some of these recently because I figured this can be a good breakfast substitute with the bacon flavor. I got 4 of these, and then you'll see over here, after I grabbed those, I found the mother load. But this was something that I grabbed through my grocery pickup because these, they had down to about $2 a can, which was actually lower than it had been. This is a case of Red Hots. I wanted to get these in bulk, and I searched all over, you know, places that sold them in bulk. I searched Amazon, I searched different candy companies, but the cheapest way I found to find them was just a case of the little box servings. And the reason I got these is because I have quite a few little recipes that use these. A lot of like holiday cookie recipes or baking recipes will use these. Between Christmas and Valentine's Day, there's a lot of baking recipes I have that use these, but you can also use these in a lot of pickling and canning type of recipes. Like they have like cinnamon pickles, and I made some cinnamon watermelon rind pickles with these. You can make cinnamon apples, cinnamon pears, all sorts of things with these. So I wanted to have a bunch of these. So I did pick these up on Amazon. And then over here, I'm just going to get this stuff out of the way so I can get to my cans back there in the corner. But this is just a big, large Parmesan cheese from BJ's. There was a coupon, and I do try to grab this whenever I have a coupon. It's shelf stable until you open it, and it lasts quite a while. I've had some in my pantry for quite a while, and if anything, it just darkens in color a little bit, but it still tastes fine. It's still fine, so I try to keep at least several of these on hand. We sometimes use quite a bit of this, and it's one of those things. When I run out of something, I like to be able to just go to the pantry and grab another one and not have to worry about a trip to the store. Now this here is something that I grabbed from Amazon. I know it looks kind of weird, but this is actually turmeric root. Now I have been looking for turmeric root. I wanted this for making fire cider, and last year I looked all over for turmeric root and I could not find it locally anywhere. So I had to use turmeric powder, which I have a lot of turmeric powder, and that's okay, but I just feel like the fresh root would be healthier. So I really wanted it. I checked on Amazon, and they actually sold turmeric root on Amazon, which kind of amazed me. And it was not a bad price, and it actually came, it smelled really good like turmeric. It's it seems to be pretty good quality. It's quite a lot of it, but I'm going to be using that. I was just shocked to find that on Amazon. Shocked and surprised in a good way. Now this Classico Alfredo sauce was a clearance deal. This is something that, like, I looked at the price and it was $1.75 a jar, and actually comparing it to the price of the Great Value, it was about the exact same price. And my daughter really likes the Great Value because they had a lot more of this, and if it had been a better price, I probably would have grabbed more. But knowing that she really likes the Great Value and it wasn't going to save me any money over that, really, I got 6 to try in case it's a lot better. But I got her a name brand once, Prego, because they had it in cans at Dollar Tree, and she was not a fan. She didn't like it. She liked the Great Value better. So I just got 6 of these marked down. And then this Belvita was another clearance deal. I'm trying to make sure that I have at least about 6 months of snacky type of foods on hand. And of course, with the kids eating snacky foods all day, every day, it's hard to build up a supply. But this was a pretty decent deal for these. $3.74 for the 12-pack. You can see it's marked down from $7.49. So I was pretty excited to find that. I think the kids will like these. And this is another one that you could throw in like a bug out bag, or you could pack them in your 72-hour meal kits, anything like that. All right, so back here I have the rest of my canned goods. Now these are just the Great Value spaghetti rings, with meatballs. So it's basically SpaghettiOs with meatballs, but it's a great value version because that's just a lot less expensive than buying the SpaghettiOs brand. Once again, this is something that you can have on hand that you don't need to prepare. You don't need to cook. You could eat it without heating it if you needed to. It's really important to have certain things on hand like that, things that your family likes. We had a lot of these on hand and we weren't eating them very quickly. And all of a sudden my son just started eating SpaghettiOs like they were going out of style. So I realized I had better stock back up on them. So I got a case of these. Some of my kids don't like the meatballs in them, but Great Value only seemed to have the version with the meatballs. But honestly, the meatballs is like my favorite thing. Like I would eat those, just the meatballs. So they can just leave them behind and I'll eat them after. Now this next thing here, I had seen this in the clearance aisle. You can see that it's marked to 75 cents. I saw this in the clearance aisle and I thought it was some kind of weird tomato soup, I guess. I just didn't really look twice at it because I didn't know what it was. And then I saw it again later, a different day, and I looked at it and it says 2 times more chilies. So I think what it is actually like Rotel, like diced tomatoes with green chilies. And we love Rotel and we use a ton of Rotel. And that would be a really good price for some kind of Rotel. This is a Sun Gold brand. So I grabbed these. Once I realized what they were, I grabbed a case of these because that's a good price. And then the last thing right here that I got for my canned goods is, now like I said, I had already picked up the bacon flavored luncheon meat from my grocery pickup order, and then I go in the store afterwards to check out the clearance deals and things. And they had cases and cases of this chicken luncheon meat on clearance for $1.55. So I thought that was really good because like I said, the Great Value brand is usually about $2 or more. And even the Treat brand, which is sometimes less expensive, is usually more than this, like $1.78, I think. So I thought this was a really good deal. We do like this luncheon meat. I actually really like this. Like I eat low carb a lot of the time, so this is perfect for me to slice up and fry up. Any place that I would use ham, like cubed ham in a recipe, I would use this luncheon meat. It's good to fry up and put in a sandwich. It's good to just fry up and eat any old way. You can put this in fried rice. Spam fried rice is really good. There's all sorts of different ways you can use this. In fact, I'm going to be making some more of my meals in a bag with all of the ingredients for the whole meal in one bag. You just grab it and prepare the meal. And I'm going to probably use some of this luncheon meat in some of those. So you'll see some different ways that you can use this. All right, so over here is some of our non-food type of preps. Now this is a fleece sleeping bag. I really like these fleece sleeping bags. There used to be one that Walmart made and sold in their Ozark Trail brand, and they have not sold that for years. I still have one, and I really liked it. You can see the size of this compared to my hand. It's pretty small compared to like a regular sleeping bag. But this wouldn't keep you as warm as a regular bag would, but what you can use this for, you could use this for a liner inside of your sleeping bag. You can use this like as a light bag if it's not going to be very cold. When we went camping, my kids used these inside their bags, and then if they were too hot, they could open their bag right up and just use this, or they could use this as a blanket if they unzipped it and opened it up. You can connect 2 of these together, just like you can with any other rectangular bag if you have 2 of the same brand. I once went on a overnight camp out with the Cub Scouts, and we slept at the Boston Museum of Science. And so since we were inside, I was able to use a bag like this and be plenty warm enough, and it just saved me a lot of space and weight packing because we had to carry our gear. But what I really wanted to get these for is, like, I have a conundrum with our bug out bags and get home bags and things like that, where I don't want to keep a regular sleeping bag inside just because of the bulk and the weight. And we do have our regular sleeping bags in a tote, like all together. We have them for camping. If we needed to bug out or evacuate in a hurry and that we thought that we needed them and we had the time and we had the space, I could totally grab that tote and we would have our sleeping bags with us. But as far as what I keep in the bags, we do have the little emergency bivy sacks, the little emergency sleeping bags, which is kind of like an emergency blanket, that Mylar type of material, which is okay for an emergency, but I feel like you could combine that with these and make something that's a little bit warmer, a little bit more cozy, a little bit more pleasant. And then there's a lot of other uses for this sleeping bag. Like I said, it can be opened up and used as a blanket. It could be used in a lot of different ways. So they have this in a lot of different colors. And so I have bought 2. I only have 1 here, but I have bought 2 so far in different colors, and I'm going to buy more and try to get 1 for each member of the family in every different color so that they're easy to tell apart. And then we'll be putting these in our bug out bags and in the get home bags that are in the cars and things like that. And then behind there, these are the solar panels for our Opus portable power station. I showed you the power station in one haul, and then the solar panels didn't show up till the following day for some reason. So I just realized I had never put them in a haul. I'd never showed you guys the solar panels. We did do a video on the whole system. If you want to check that out, we'll link that down below. But these are the solar panels. I'm going to insert some video clips here because I am using one hand and I would not be able to probably manage this with one hand. But they do open up really wide. They've got stands on the back. They've got little zipper pockets on the back that you can use to store the cords and all that stuff. And they do have grommets and stuff that you can use to tie them up with if you wanted to hang them. So we really, really like this system. This is a really great emergency backup power system, and these are our solar panels for it. And now this is some more battery backup type of thing on a much smaller scale. This is for cell phones, and honestly, like, I think that this is part of preparedness and part of safety. Like, you don't want to just prepare for the big SHTF end of the world scenarios. You want to be prepared for everyday little emergencies as well, and everyday little situations. And I consider our cell phones, my kids' cell phones, to be part of their safety. Like many people, we don't have landline phones. So if they're in their bedroom at night, I want them to have their cell phone handy and accessible. Because if they were to wake up and there was a fire and they were trapped in their room, or if they were to wake up and they were to hear an intruder in the house somewhere, and I would want them to be able to contact 911. And if they're away from home, I want to make sure that they have their cell phones and they have them charged. We had a situation last year, I believe it was. My daughter goes and works on a farm after school, and she usually gets picked up by someone, so I don't pick her up. And there was one day that there was a mix-up in communication. She did not get picked up, and her phone was dead. So she was just stuck there with no ride and no way to contact anyone. She ended up having to go into a store and ask one of the employees if she could use their phone charger long enough to charge her phone. And I don't ever want that to happen to my kids again. So we do have the bigger rectangular chargers that I've showed you in a past haul, I believe. And I like those. They charge really fast. They store quite a bit. They hold quite a bit of battery power. These are really good too. They're smaller, so they don't hold as much battery power. You're probably going to get to charge your phone like once off of these. But I really like that they are small and light, just like a lipstick about. And you can actually attach them. They're called docking chargers, I think. You could actually attach it onto the end of your phone and basically be using your phone just like normal. And this would be charging it up. And I did try mine out. This pink one is mine. I tried it out. It works really well. It charges really quickly. I've got two here. This is for me and this is for my son. One of my daughters has an iPhone, so I did get her a different brand because I did get her a different brand. They do have this brand for iPhones, but I got her the different brand just to try it out because it had some different features. But I just basically want to make sure that my kids are able to charge their phones and have their phone charged if they're ever in a situation where they might need it. And then along those lines, I also got these little power station this you plug into the wall, and it just like has places to plug in multiple USB cords, because I figure if they've got these extra battery packs to charge, they've got their phones to charge, I want them to have all these things charged every day. So I figured just to make it easier for them, we'll put these by their beds. I have not actually tried these out yet. Like, I've tried the battery packs out. I haven't tried these out yet, so I can't really vouch for how they work. But I just figured this would be a way for them to be able to keep everything charged up. And then I also got to go along with that these little mini length cords, because they don't need long cords, just to have some battery packs charging at night. Now this is a package of Benadryl allergy. It's the little 2 packs, the packets of 2 pills. I like to have little packets of medications and creams and things like that because they're easy to slip into little first aid kits. I can put these into the first aid kits that my kids take to school. This is my older kids, like my teenagers who are old enough to be able to be responsible with their own medication and know how to take things like this. But I do have some packets of Benadryl pills, but they're a generic brand, and so they have the generic name on it, and I just don't necessarily trust that he's going to know what's what. So I wanted to have some that say Benadryl on it because he knows what that is and he can take this. I'm a little bit disappointed with this because I'll show you the listing. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I took this to mean that this was 2 boxes of the 60 packs of 2 tablets. And I only got 1 box. So I have contacted them to see what's up with that. I chose this listing because it was the best deal at the time. But if I only get 1 package, if I only get half of what I expected, then it probably wasn't the best deal. So I might be returning this if I can and choose a different listing. But I definitely wanted to have these packets of Benadryl. And then we got some men's deodorant. Like, we have quite a bit of women's deodorant, but we were getting kind of low on the men's. And so I grabbed a bunch of these. All these 2 packs came from Walmart, and these were pretty inexpensive. Right Guard and Speed Stick brands. And then this Old Spice one, this is the one that Mr. Wicked Prepared has to have. It's the only one that doesn't irritate him. So I got one of those. That's a little bit more expensive. The rest of these 2-packs are pretty inexpensive. I don't think my son is going to be too picky about what he uses. So I just got a bunch of different scents and stuff so he could try them all out, and we'll have plenty. So if there ever comes a time that we can't get these things, we should have plenty to last us quite a while. And then this back here was another thing of men's deodorant. This was on Amazon. This popped up on my subscribe and save. It's a 6-pack and it's Degree. And it was a pretty good price for this 6-pack. So I did grab one of these. So like I said, we are going to be all set with men's deodorant. But boys are stinky, so I guess that's a good thing. And then I got a couple packs of these nail clippers. I bought these for this regular size nail clipper. I've been looking at Walmart, and I never could find the really cheap nail clipper. I finally looked down at the very bottom of the rack, and way down low was this whole pack, and it was like 98 cents or $1 or something. And that was for all of us. And all I really wanted was this cheap nail clipper, but I just didn't want to pay a lot for it. So I was glad to find this. It's probably been there the whole time and I've just never noticed it. But all these other things will probably come in handy too, but I really bought it for the nail clipper. I feel like you can never have enough of those, and they're always disappearing. In fact, I'll probably pick up a few more packs the next time I think about it. And then back here is some just food preparation things. Like this right here is a little crinkle cutter. I thought this would be good for doing pickles and things like that. But I also recently found out that I can use this to slice off little sample size pieces of Scentsy wax bars. So I guess I'm probably going to get another one of these. They're pretty inexpensive because I feel like if I use this to slice Scentsy wax, I probably shouldn't use it for food. I don't know. What do you think? If you were to clean this, would you use it for food after using it for a scented wax? I mean, they're non-toxic scented wax, but I think I'm going to buy a second one. And then back here I have some of these. These are the baggie opener. They like stand up and hold your baggie open, like a gallon sized Ziploc or whatever, if you're making like freezer meals where you're making the kind that's in a bag, the dump and go kind, or anything like that. If you're putting it into freezer bags, it's just easier to have some of these to hold your bags open while you work. And I've never had any of these. I've been wanting some, so I found a good deal on these, so I got some. And then these are just a couple of items for corn on the cob, because we obviously grew corn in the garden and I was getting ready to process it and can it. And so I got these to be a little bit easier to cut the corn off the cob. I've done it with a knife before. I know you can stick it into the middle of a bundt pan and things like that, but I just wanted to have something a little bit more designed for that purpose. I got this one because this one actually has a clear tube around it. I don't know if you can see it. So it cuts the kernels off and contains them within the tube. This actually works pretty well, but if you have a cob that's not a typical size or shape, if it's like got a fatter cob or it's a very, very short little ear, which we had some of those, it doesn't work as well. This one actually works really well for any other type of corn that's not typical size. So these worked great for processing our corn. Then over here is just some more things from Amazon. This is some tarp clips. These will clip to like the edge of any kind of tarp or any kind of plastic material, any kind of poncho that you might have, anything that you would want to hang up. It clips onto it and it gives you some holes at the end to tie your rope to. So I thought this would be a handy thing to have. I wanted to get some more of these, so I grabbed some. And then I did get this 3-pack of hefty bags. These are the jumbo bags. So these are the 2.5 gallon ones. I don't use these too often. I just use them every once in a while, but I was running low. One of the things I've used them for recently, so I can think of an example, is when I make like Muddy Buddies Chex Mix to shake the powdered sugar onto it. I put it into a big bag and the gallon size aren't big enough. But I don't use a ton of these, so this will last me quite a while. But I have bought bags this size at Dollar Tree before, and I looked at those bags, and those bags have 5 bags in them. And they're $1.25 now. And so I compared that to the price I paid for these and the number of bags I got, and it was actually cheaper to get these through Amazon on my subscribe and save than it would have been to buy the same amount of bags at Dollar Tree. And I'm sure they're better quality bags. So I got this 3-pack and it'll last me quite a while. And then over here I've got, these are oxygen absorbers. Now these are they're 200 cc, I think. So they're the perfect size for my meals in a jar. Now I did make a post about this because it was a really good deal. So make sure that you're subscribed to us because I do try to post good deals when I find them. So I grabbed a set of these. These are packaged up in, I don't know if it's 5 or 10. I'm pretty sure it's 5 per little package because once you open oxygen absorbers, they're going to start absorbing oxygen. So if you don't use them all and you don't repackage them airtight, they're going to be wasted. And so I try to get the smallest amount of packaging that I can. You know, they packaged in a small number so that if I don't use them all, you can seal them up in a small mason jar, the smallest size that you can get them to fit in, and seal it up tight. And that's supposed to preserve them, but I just feel like it's going to absorb some oxygen. And so I'd rather not have to do that. I'd rather just be ready to use them all when I open them. But so this was a good deal for either 50 or 100 of these. I can't remember how many, but I'll put the link down in the description. And then this was another really good deal that I grabbed on Amazon. These are great to have because these are safe to use indoors. These Mr. Heater buddies, they have a little buddies and they have the regular buddies, and this is the big buddy. This is up to 18,000 BTUs. So this is bigger than a lot of them. This is the really big one. It says it has a built-in fan. These run on propane. They're safe to run inside. These are good to have if your power goes out in the winter and you're not able to use your heat. If you don't have wood heat, we never really worried much about this because we heated our house with wood. And then we recently took the wood stove out, and I know that seems like a strange decision, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. We do still have the stove. We still have all the stovepipe. If it comes down to it, we can reinstall it. But for right now, we don't have it in. So if it was just a short-term power outage, a short-term emergency, we want to make sure that we have things like this to make sure that we don't freeze and that our pipes don't freeze and things like that. So this was a really great deal. So I grabbed one of these. And then over here, I've got some more kind of food preparation type of things. Now this adjustable measuring cup, I have a couple of these. I have several of these actually that I've had for many, many, many years. And the markings on the outside are starting to wear off. They're not starting to wear off. They're pretty well worn off because I've used them so much. I love these measuring cups. They're great for like peanut butter and shortening and sour cream and, you know, mayonnaise, all those sorts of things that you might measure. I use these cups all the time. So I thought it was finally time to break down and order myself a new one because I really can't read the markings very well on the ones that I have. This is a 2-cup measure. I have smaller ones as well, and they did have smaller ones on Amazon, so I'm probably gonna, but this one I think was on sale, so I figured I'd grab this one, and then maybe a little later I'll grab one of the smaller ones to replace my smaller ones. And then this right here, this is handles for my canner. The lid to my canner actually fell off the counter one night. I think a cat probably knocked it off, and one of the handles broke off, and I was just devastated. I thought I was going to have to replace my canner. And then I remembered seeing replacement parts on Amazon, and I thought maybe I'd have to just buy a new lid. But I actually was able to find just the handles, so that's fantastic. So we're going to replace the handles on that because I've been using that a lot lately. And then these are a bunch of bungee cords. These are just from Walmart. I got these because I actually use these ones with hooks to store a lot of my canning rings, the rings for my canning jars, and the ones that I have are all filled up and I have no room for more, and I still have more rings to put away. So I asked Mr. Wicked Prepared if he had any of these type of bungees in the garage because I'm sure that's where I got the first ones, and he said he didn't, which I have a hard time believing, so I think he just didn't understand what I was talking about. But I figured I'd buy a set anyway, so if he really is out of them, we'll have this big set for the garage because I took what I needed out of it already. And now some of these items are basically like canning and pickling and jam making kind of items. This is pickling lime. This is something that you can use to make your pickles or your veggies more crisp if you're pickling things like that. This is, I believe, a 2-pack. This is the best deal I could find on Amazon. And then this is another item that's used for the same purpose. This is alum, I guess is how you say it, or alum. But this is another thing that can make pickles crisper. But I was actually looking at the back. I bought it for pickling, but this says you can actually use it for making Play-Doh, toothpaste, deodorant, aftershave, baking powder, and fire extinguishers. I was like, that's a lot of uses. So that's actually going to be probably a really good thing to have on hand. And this is a pretty good size bag, 1.5 pounds of this. So that should last quite a while. And then here I've got a lot of different low sugar pectins. If you remember, like maybe my last haul or two ago, I bought some bulk regular pectin because I was sick of buying the little boxes. It ends up being super expensive. And I'm usually trying to save money when I'm making things myself. So I don't want to spend a lot on the ingredients for making jam and jellies. I know a lot of people said that they make no pectin jams. They make pectin with jam with no pectin. I have never really done that, and I'm just a little bit afraid of that. I really guess I should learn how to do that. But for now, I do use pectin. But some of these, what I bought some of these for is, like I made some watermelon jelly, for example. I don't know that there would be a no pectin recipe for watermelon jelly. But Who knows? But these Sure Gel, I was buying these, and these are pretty expensive. These are like at least $3.50 a box. And I was like, that's going to get old fast. These are the low to no sugar ones. They work in a different way. So if you're not going to be using a lot of sugar, and my watermelon jelly recipe, for example, did not use a ton of sugar, just because the sugar would overpower the watermelon flavor. But so I had bought some of these, and I'm like, I didn't want to keep spending this amount of money. So I looked for some more bulk pectins like I did with the regular pectin. And I actually went a little bit nuts, I guess, on Amazon because I just found a bunch of options, and I figured I'd try every one and see what worked the best for the best price. Basically, I think if it works and does what it's supposed to do, then it'll go in the running and I'll just pick the cheapest one. This was a set of boxes, just like the Sure Gel boxes, but just a different brand. And it came a dozen boxes, and it ended up being a little bit cheaper per box than buying these Sure Gels. Then I tried this Judy's. I've used Judy's like a lot of other items of this Judy's brand, and I've been happy with them. But this actually didn't end up being as much pectin as I thought it would be. 6 ounces. So I think that even if this does work, it's probably not going to be the most economical. So that probably may not end up being what I choose. This Pomona's Universal is pretty well known to be like the best pectin, the best low sugar pectin, but it's pretty expensive. Like, this was quite a bit of money. I can't remember how much it was. Like I said, I'll have the links down in the description if you want to check things out, but this was not cheap. So unless it's the only thing that works, I probably won't be using this one. They had a bigger package, but it would have been so expensive that I didn't even want to spring for that. And then this is this was actually pretty inexpensive. So this might end up being the winner. If this one works, it's going to probably be the winner because it's quite a bit. It's a pound, and it was pretty inexpensive. So as long as this does what it's supposed to do, this might be what I end up using and buying more of. And then back here, this is a container of clear gel. Now, clear gel is a thickener that you use in like canning and things like that, because this is one of the only thickeners that will stand up to the heat of canning. And so it's approved for canning. If you were to use like cornstarch or something like that and then can it, it would break down. And so I bought this because I've been making and canning some like pie fillings. I've got a pie filling that I made, a mock apple pie filling out of zucchini squashes. So this is a pretty big container. I've heard that there's a shortage of this, but I honestly didn't have any trouble finding it myself. I've never seen it locally, so I've always had to get it on Amazon. But this was in stock, and I got this big container of it. I might get another one of these actually, because I'll probably use quite a bit of this this fall, canning up pie fillings, like apple pie fillings and mock apple pie filling. I'm going to make some more of that because it was delicious. And then here I've got a bunch of canning lids. I was getting low on lids. Now I've been using a lot of brand new jars. You can see I got a lot of brand new jars here, and of course they all come with lids. But I went down cellar and I realized I didn't have as many extra lids as I thought I did. And I went and looked at Walmart, and this box right here of wide mouth lids, because this is what I was really low on, they had this marked at over $5. It was like $5.50 for 12 lids. I was like, that's ridiculous. That's almost 50 cents a lid. So I started shopping around, and I found a brand of lids that everyone says great things about. I haven't found a single person who said that they didn't love these lids. And I've actually seen a lot of people who have had issues with ball lids. But I found these lids on Azure Standard website, actually, and so I added them to my next drop. And I was super, super excited. And then the problem is that they went out of stock, and they were expecting a whole bunch more in, but not for a few days after my drop had shipped. So I don't think I'm going to be getting them. But then, you know, it seems like something always happens to provide exactly what you need, because then I was putting together an online pickup order at Walmart on the website late one night, and these happened to pop up, and they were marked for, I think it was like $2.97 or something. So they were like basically almost half price, which I thought was amazing. Now I don't know if this deal would be available in the store or not. I wasn't in the store. I was looking online. I did it just for an online pickup order for the next day. And I was also afraid that they would not have them available by the time my order was picked, because I honestly I never see these in my store ever. If I see the wide mouth lids, it's usually the ones with the rings, which I have a billion rings. I don't need the rings, and they're more expensive that way. But I ordered 12 of them because it was the max that it would let me order. And surprisingly, they actually filled the order with all of the lids for that price. I was so excited. So this will tide me over. I'm still going to try the other brand. And I've got one more brand that I'm going to try, but so I'll link those other lids down in the description box. So go down and look for those because they should be back in stock like any day now. But this will tide me over until I'm able to get some of those and try them. And then I also got 5 packs of the regular mouth lids. This is the Golden Harvest brand, and I have never really had any trouble with this Golden Harvest that I get at Walmart. It's less expensive than the Ball. They used to have Mainstays brand, like Walmart's brand of lids, but they don't have those anymore as far as I know. But the Golden Harvest, I have not found those in the wide mouth usually, but I'll find them in the regular mouth, and these work perfectly well, and they're also less expensive. So that's what I got for lids. And then, of course, behind that, I've got a bunch of more jars. We've been using a lot of jars lately between, all the things we've been canning. I used a lot of pint jars making salsa. I've made quite a bit of salsa lately with the tomatoes and stuff from the garden. So I got 2 boxes of the smooth jars, which are just basically the regular mouth pint jars, but they're all smooth sided. They do say Ball on the bottom on one side, but other than that, they're smooth. And I like the smooth jars. I also got a couple of cases of the regular, and I'm not really sure why I didn't get just the smooth, because I really like the smooth ones, because I actually like to label my jars with stickers on the side of the jars. I know a lot of people label the lids. I like to put my labels on the sides of the jars. So I like the smooth because the labels stick better. So I'm really going to try to stock a lot more smooth jars and maybe start to slowly replace some of my regular jars with smooth ones. But I got 2 cases of each this time. And then up there, that's just one last thing of half pint jars. And these are the shorter, wider, wide mouth half pint jars. I really like these. I like the way they look. I like my relish in these jars. But what I discovered is that these are actually more expensive than the taller, skinnier half pints. So I'm probably going to buy less of these and more of the taller, skinnier ones, but I did get this 1 case of these. And then the last couple things that I have over here is this is some generic or like not name brand rolls for my Food Saver. That was part of the reason that I had stopped using the Food Saver years ago and hadn't gotten a new one, was because I didn't like how expensive the rolls of material were, or the bags. And so this is a much cheaper brand. I haven't tried it yet. If you've used an off-brand of rolls for your Food Saver, let me know how you liked them and what brand you use. This one had good reviews, so I'm going to try these. And then the very final thing that I got was this big gallon jug of rice vinegar. I used up all the rice vinegar that I had in my sweet zucchini relish recipe. Used a little bit of this, and I really, really like that recipe. Now, I wasn't able to find a rice vinegar anywhere with 5% acidity, but the recipe that I used said it was an approved recipe and they used rice vinegar, and I figured if I couldn't find one with 5% acidity, then maybe they probably just don't exist. So I'm thinking it's fine. I used very little, and most of it was just plain white vinegar, so I think it's a-okay. But I got this big jug because I really like that sweet zucchini relish, and I'll probably be making a lot more of it. So, and vinegar is basically like a forever food. Like, this should last forever and a day. And of course, the final thing that we're adding to our prepper pantry this week is all of the home canned goodies that we've made up recently with things from the garden. I'll start over here, and this is stuff that we've done with our zucchini and our summer squash. This is a squapple pie filling. This is actually made with all yellow summer squash and zephyr squash. It was a recipe for zucchini apple pie filling, and we didn't actually have any green zucchini at the time, but what I found with all of this stuff is that I can pretty much use those all interchangeably. So I either use, half and half or whatever we happen to have. This year, our yellow squashes performed a lot better than our zucchini did. So we did get quite a few zucchini, but we got a lot more of the yellow squash and the zephyr squash, which are the two-toned. So this was made all with the yellow squash and the zephyr squash. It's an apple pie filling, but it's made completely with zucchinis, but you would not know the difference. This is delicious. We made an apple or a squapple crisp out of this the other night. It was so good. I'm going to be definitely doing some more of this. And this was, I did another batch of the sweet zucchini relish. I do have a video on this. If you want to check that out, I'll put that up in the corner of the screen. This is really good. So we did another batch of this. This was done with a mix of the green and yellow squashes. And then I made some dill zucchini relish, which this was a big batch. This made a whole bunch of the dill zucchini relish. So we probably won't do another one of those this year. And then this is salsa. Now I just left this in the box to show you what I like to do here because this was a full case. And so I like to leave the plastic on if I can. I slit it along 3 sides if I can. If the plastic's already damaged on the top, like sometimes it comes from the store with holes in it or whatever, then I'll just cut it off all along all 4 sides, and then at least you have the plastic on the bottom, so that if you have any jars that happen to leak, you know, for any reason your seal breaks or the jar breaks, it can help catch the mess and keep it from what you have underneath. But this way, if I can leave it attached on one side, I have this flap that I can just put back over, because we store a lot of our canning down in the basement and it can be pretty dusty down there, so this helps. And having them in the box makes it easier to stack things if, you know, you have to stack them. I hope someday to have really nice canning shelves where we maybe won't have to stack things, but right now we do stack things. So you want to have something in between the layers of jars, so the case will work for that. So this is just some homemade salsa. I did put some habaneros in this one. I made salsa. I didn't make any last year. I made it 2 years ago. And I made it a little bit wimpy. I mean, everybody loved the flavor of it and the girls loved it, but the boys said that it should have been spicier. So this year I made this a little bit spicier. I didn't make salsa last year. I focused just on spaghetti sauce, and then we still have spaghetti sauce from last year. So this year I'm making a bunch of salsa. So this came out really good. I'll probably do some more of that. And then we have a bunch of watermelon things. These are some cinnamon watermelon rind pickles. I haven't tried these yet. These have to sit for 3 weeks. And then we'll try them and see how they are. They have quite a bit of extra space in there. My daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, helped me pack these, and I really didn't check, but I think she did a pretty good job. It seemed like they were pretty tightly packed. I think that's just how much they shrank when they were canned. And then I did watermelon lemonade concentrate. I did these just like my strawberry and raspberry lemonade concentrate, so I'll put that video up in the corner if you didn't get to see that and you want to check out how I did this. Did it the same method. I just blended the watermelon flesh in the blender and put it through a wire mesh strainer to get just the watermelon juice, and then I used 6 cups of the watermelon juice for each batch of concentrate. And then I got some, these are regular watermelon rind pickles, just the typical, you know, sweet, spicy watermelon rind pickles like my mom used to make. And then we did watermelon jelly. This is delicious. This is so yummy and so beautiful. I don't know if that even really does it justice, but that was a super fun thing to do. And then we just got some corn, just some pints of canned corn here, and they have these markings on the top because I was doing some experiments with like blanching and not blanching and different stuff like that, so I just marked the lid so that I know which was which. And then I ended up with some corn cob jelly because we really like to try to live by the waste not want not, and like to try to use every bit of the food if we can. Like, I'm not perfect, obviously. I do throw things away, but I try to, you know, waste not want not. So this is corn cob jelly that I made up after we did the pints of corn, after we cut the corn off the cob. And then, of course, using the rind of the watermelon is another thing that you can do to try to use all your food. If we have a chicken or a turkey that we cook up, we take the carcass and make broth or soup. And then after that, I can pressure cook that carcass until it crumbles, and I can make dog treats or bone meal, all kinds of things like that. So I really try to find a use for every bit of the food that we have if I can. And these will eventually have all the rings off. They're all in various stages of being labeled and, you know, gotten ready to store. So they're not all there yet, but I'll take all these rings off to store them and make sure that I have labels on everything with the dates and all that. All right, guys, that's everything that we've added to our prepper pantry and our supplies lately. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a fall maple leaf emoji down in the comments, because fall is my favorite season and I am so excited that it's here. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.